I'm going to invite you, and you can you get to do with it as you will, but I will invite you to give a story about your backstory.
You were like, I will invite you, and you went like this, and I was like, I thought you were saying like, take off your clothes.
I will invite you to get
I'm
naked.
like, you want me to strip?
Always, please. Oh my God. It is with so much pleasure, excitement, anticipation, dripping hot, fucking so excited to have on my show today, Dr. Mandi Rose. You are, if anything, the most unleashed woman. I think you might win the award for most
Wow,
unleashed.
you know a lot of unleashed women. I'm taking that very seriously.
That's no joke. It is no joke. I do know a lot of unleashed women, and you be the one. What's not the MVP, but most improved. You have
Oh,
gone the farthest. So I have to introduce you. I don't even know how to begin. Where do we start? Mandi is, you're a coach, you're a mermaid, you're a magician. I mean, not really a magician, but you do magic. You make a lot of magic. Um, you are a model for all of us for how to live an unleashed life and how to manifest and how to reinvent yourself and how to take your shit and turn it into gold. And, never apologizing. I mean, that's just how, from where I'm sitting, that this place of not, at least now where I see you, I think that's one of the biggest things for women, for all of us. Like, can we just stop apologizing in all of the ways? Like we say, I'm sorry when you stub your toe, but also like by just trying to be smaller and not take up as much space. And, oh, I'm sorry. I hear you go. And I like that you are teaching us how to wear hot, shiny clothes that show off your hot body and just have fun. And you look totally beautiful. And of course, you look today like the most innocent schoolgirl. Like you look a little bit like Heidi in the mountains. Like you're so beautiful, just purity itself.
I
Of course,
know. I guess I should have put on something sparkly for you.
oh no, babe. You are so sparkly. You don't need the sparkle. It's all right. I'm like, wow, I'm almost blinded by your beauty. Okay, please, Queen. Will you please say hello and introduce yourself a little bit? You have such an incredible story. We're not going to even be able to begin to do it all honor here.
We're not even going to scratch the surface, I'm sure.
How could we? I mean, it deserves its own miniseries with like 8 seasons, maybe more.
Well, thank you. Seriously, Sarah, that was such a beautiful introduction. I really am so honored to be here. Thank you for asking me to be here. I have so much love for you and I'm so grateful for our sisterhood, our friendship, our marriage.
Oh yeah. Oh, disclaimer.
Okay, we're gonna talk about
right. Disclosure. I mean, yeah, right. By the way, this guest is my wife. I suppose that way. We did get married by toe ring in Costa Rica.
By toe ring in Costa Rica. But anyways, I'm honestly just so happy to be here today. You are such a ball of light and sparkle and so much energy, and it's always just so fun to be around you. But a little bit about me. Yeah. A little bit about me is I have, like you said, reinvented myself so many times, and I am constantly looking to evolve and constantly looking to I think my biggest thing in life is just letting go of things that are holding me back back, right? And so that's where you're seeing me as so unleashed, is I'm like, anything that is like holding me back, whether it's another person, something internal, whatever it is, I'm like, I get angry and I'm like, gotta get rid of this so that I can be my full unleashed true authentic self. So that's gone through a whole variety of things. I have done many different careers in my life, starting with physics. I was a physicist. Doing research. I was a professional sailboat racer, winning a world championship. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And then I moved on to doing high conflict divorce coaching and built the largest divorce coaching business in the world, helping moms through really crazy, crazy custody battles and divorces. And then now I'm moving on is from that as well, and then really helping a lot of women navigate freedom. Like freedom is my biggest thing, and I'm here to bring in the new earth, to gather the women of the new earth and to support them on their journey of writing the structures and building the new earth. And so that looks a lot like being unleashed. Like the new earth is not about structure and boundaries and like patriarchy. So we still need the masculine energy, but it's more about freedom from all of that and collaboration and supporting each other. And that's really but that we still live in the old earth. And so there's so much that happens during that transition. And I really am a bridge for women in that transition.
Oh, you sure are. You're the most, excuse me. Wow, I lost my voice there for a second. You are the most delicious, divine mermaid bridge. Indeed. You are bridging dimensions.
Yes.
I've seen you bridging, weaving in between all the dimensions. I've seen it. So to the people listening, just to say, so I've known you for a year, just over a year.
It literally feels like I've known you for like 20 years, Sarah.
Do you know that it's been almost exactly a year, probably to date, almost to the date that I met you in person, right? Like when I see you in Costa Rica, because we are going to Costa Rica together, because this is our life. I brag.
For a 1 year anniversary.
For our 1 year anniversary. True. Okay, so this is just to share. We are in an incredible container together with Regina Thomas Sauer. I say it's Thomas Sauer, and I've heard Thomas Shower. Do we know how it's properly
I say
said?
it's Thomas Hauer, but
I say that too. We're going to say that together. Okay, Thomas Sauer. And she's such a queen. Her most recent book, Pussy, but she's written many. And so she's changed millions of lives, including ours.
Yeah.
Just recently ours. And so in this time since I met you in 3D, I met you in January 2022 on Zoom, and we met in person a couple months later. Already by that time, it seemed like years, even when it was just months. And then that's been a year, and it feels like, yeah, I've known you forever, sure, many lifetimes. And in the time I've known you, I look back at who we each were even 1 year ago, and it's almost unrecognizable to me. Even
totally.
Yeah, the way I felt in my body. We've done a lot of things together. We've also done some regenerative medicine treatments.
Yes, we have.
In the Tetons of all.
In the Tetons. Getting the nervous system reset.
And the juice, and we just got ourselves totally rejuiced. So I really do feel like my whole everything got renewed and restructured and rebuilt and like boop, reset. So it's been quite a year. And I'm sure nobody would look at you a year ago and say like, wow, that woman's really uptight. But like somehow you were not at all. Wait, not. But yet somehow the way you feel now is like whatever you were wearing around yourself is gone. You look like you've lost years of life. Like you look so young and radiant, and your hair and your skin and your smile. I mean, everybody, I'm like, God, this is a visual, so everyone can see how beautiful you are. If you're listening, please watch the YouTube video so you can see how radiant Mandi is. And it's not a spa treatment. It's not diet. It's like inner radiance.
It's the inner work. It's the inner radiance and how to shine. Letting go of all the stuff that's clouding your inner radiance from shining out. Yeah.
Yeah. How is it? Just something you just wake up and just do? Is it just easy?
I wish.
Is it pretty? Like, do you feel like?
No, it was. I think that the work that we've done with Regina was some of the hardest work I've ever done, and I've done a lot of work on myself.
Well bragged.
I have been working on myself for almost 20 years now.
Well bragged.
All sorts of therapies and coaches and special thingies and like all the things. And,
if there was a workshop, you were in it. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. I probably, if you name it, I've done it. I've spent a lot of money on invested a lot of money in myself. But the biggest, like, a lot of it was mental, right? You know, reprogramming my mental state and how in my emotional state and my spiritual state. But what Regina and what I would think you're alluding to here is the radiance that I'm now, and the lightness to me that I'm now exuding, the turn on, right? That, that Regina talks about. And that's something that was the hardest of all of the things that I've done, because it's so ingrained in our culture to be, as a woman, to be small and to be like turned off and to like hide. And that was always my experience was, I just wanted to hide. I just wanted to blend in with everybody. I just wanted to wear what everybody else is wearing, do what everyone else is doing, like just get married, have a kid, like just live the life that you're supposed to live, and just fall between the cracks and just hide.
Yeah, safety. That's how we survive.
Yeah, that's how we. Yeah,
not just us, but generations and thousands of years.
Yeah, it's true. And so what I really learned from Regina is to step outside of that and to be vibrant and to be not ashamed of like who I am. And like, it was so hard because everything in my body wanted to keep me safe and wanted to keep me small. It's like, no, you can't be big. You can't be shiny. You can't be loud. You can't speak your voice because you'll get hurt. And you can't be turned on because you'll get hurt. And so it was like all this, like I remember one like speaking to Regina and being like, I can't, like, I'm terrible. Like every time I try to turn on and be like, she uses turn on as like, we know what turn on, but the listeners may not, she means like being radiant. And so every time I tried to turn myself on and be radiant, I was like, my whole, like my nervous system was like, red alarm. Like a man is going to rape you. A woman is going to be jealous of you. Like, this is not okay. This is not okay. And so took me a lot of work to overcome those, like, not to overcome, because I don't want to say that like I squashed those alarm bells and like I don't listen to the alarm bells. Like it was more of like teaching myself that it's safe to be shiny. It's safe to be turned on. And that was a lot of work with you. I mean, honestly, you were a big part of that, and the other sisters in this community of like, I can be shiny and big and brilliant and turned on, and you're not going to hate me. You're not going to compete with me. You're not going to like try and tear me down and be like, fuck you, like all the stuff. Right.
Right. I mean, and this is so big. I just want to pause because it's such a big thing that it's okay to be shiny. And you're so right, because it's not just that we're afraid of the men that, what were you wearing? It's your fault. And she was asking for it. Like danger could actually happen to us if we're too shiny by the men is kind of what we're taught to be afraid. Right. And then, but you're also describing women and the fear of like, well, that's our survival then is our women pack. And then if they're threatened or if we are being cultured, taught that we have to compete with each other for this very rare and valuable thing, the men, that like, as though like we're not just amazing and enough in ourselves and they're just the icing. So it's really deep from the beginning in all of the messaging that we've been getting. And so what you're describing, I think that's really important because I wasn't really aware of that, of the women competing with each other so much. But it did happen to me a lot, and it was so confusing to me.
So confusing.
Why do I have to wait? Why would you think I want your husband? Or I don't know, just thinking like I'm not a threat to you in any way.
Yeah.
And
sometimes that can happen even from just a woman showing up at a party wearing a certain dress, not even talking to anybody, but just the fact that she wore that dress is making other women uncomfortable and makes like be like, their husband, don't look at her, like don't like why like don't.
I wouldn't even dare wear the dress. Me speaking for myself, I wouldn't even dare to wear the dress because walking in with a giant man's shirt on, not saying a word, people are like, whoa, well, you're a firecracker. And I'm like, I didn't even say anything. Like, what?
Oh, Sarah, I need to talk about that because I had that too.
Of course you did.
I was like, my energy, I keep talking to all these people now. I'm now in the psychic school too. And like, they all like get on the phone with me and they're like, they can't even see me, right? They're just on the phone and like, every single one of them individually has been like, wow, your energy is like really big. Like it goes out like 20 feet. And so I'm like, wow, that's a lot of energy. And so I've always had like a big energy, like magnetic, like um captivating energy. And so I didn't know
Well
what to,
bragged.
thank
Well
you.
bragged.
I brag. And like I didn't know what to do with that energy. I
Yeah.
could so I again was trying to hide.
Yes.
I wore men's clothing until I was 30 years old to
Mhm.
try and hide myself.
Yeah.
But even in wearing men's clothing, walking into a room, people are still like you say,
Oh, geez,
oh,
whoa.
wow. Like,
You're
who
a
is this?
firecracker.
It's like, sure,
What?
like I literally can wear like literally like a black t-shirt and black baggy pants, and people are like, who's this? And I'm like, please stop looking at me. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to hide. But then I was like, okay, clearly that doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
So
Doesn't
so
work.
I
And doesn't
bragged that
keep you safe. Doesn't keep you safe.
it doesn't keep me safe. And honestly, I bragged that I was like, screw it. I'm just going to wear the shiniest, most ridiculous clothing possible. So that is like, at least it matches my energy.
Oh
And
my
people
God.
are like, okay, that's consistent now. Like,
Oh, I love that so much. And you are sitting, of course, in front of a beautiful, and I love it. I was like, I was going to say you could wear a burlap sack and it wouldn't matter. And you're sitting in front of what looks like kind of like burlap with glitter coming out of it, which is totally like perfect metaphor. You, it's true. You have so much light. And so what I'm curious about is, so now, and it's true, I'm so happy to hear that you're in the psychic school. That's so cool. Yet another container for us to share and language. It's just fun to share experiences and languages, and then you have like a same vocabulary to like share with, which is I've noticed making a really, because then I have all these disparate groups of people. So the
yeah,
more containers I'm sharing, I'm finding that that's like end up who I spending time with are
yeah.
people who can speak the language I'm in. So
Oh,
you've gotten so many tools, and you've expressed your light and your power and your experience in so many different ways. Can we talk about what's happening right now? What you are unleashing right
oh,
now in the
what am
world?
I unleashing right now? Oh,
So,
Sarah, I'm unleashing so much right now. I don't even know what to do with it all.
well bragged.
I'm so excited. I mean, I didn't mention before, but in the past few weeks, I launched a TV show. So I have my very own TV show called My Life, My Freedom. If you want more of me, you can find me there.
Okay, we do want more of you. My life, my freedom. Great
My
title.
Life
And where can we find it? Where is that?
you can find it on YouTube, but it's
Okay.
also streamed live on Apple TV, Roku,
Oh,
Amazon Fire TV, Samsung, all the TV things on Mondays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
oh,
Is
I
when
love it.
it's also on YouTube, if that's the easiest thing for you. It's My Life, My Freedom, Dr.
My
Mandi Rose.
life, my freedom. So
Yeah.
hot. You are so, every time you talk about the things that you have done, and I know that it's way beyond anything we've even begun to touch on here, but wow, my jaw drops. And you're sitting before me, a woman, and you know what the biggest change I've noticed is how much more pleasure, I can almost feel how much pleasure you're getting from being in your body.
Hmm.
It's less hummingbird and more like, oh, this is a human body. This is fun.
I forgot about this body that I have.
It's just that you look so, you're emanating just like comfort and ease in your skin. And I feel like that's something that so many women, especially probably humans in general, but can really just relate to is
We're,
God, who wants
we're
to, we don't even want to be in our own skin.
we're so much up here. We're so intellectual. And plus, for me, and I'm sure this is for a lot of other people who will watch this and other people in the world, is that I didn't feel safe in my body. Like it was it was painful to sit with myself in my body. It was physically uncomfortable, like physical pain. There was emotional pain
Oh yeah.
from the trauma in my life. It was just uncomfortable to go into my body. It's much easier to just stay up here and to like think about things, right? And
Yeah, get out of your body. Yeah.
all spiritual work I've done too is like that's again more up here. And that's why I love the psychic school is that it's actual psychic work in your body again. Yeah. So it's like it's
So
so
cool.
much is up here. And so I think that's been so helpful for me is to actually be in safe, feel safe in my body, feel comfortable in my body, like go into my body and release the painful things that are making it painful to stay there
Yeah.
and feel comfortable staying there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. Thank you for saying that because I feel like that's part of how, at least as I was growing up, what I understood about like whatever psychics or spiritual people, it was never connected to the body. And not in the cultures that I was in, which was
It was like leave your body, go to the astral plane and
and the
like
body's actually bad. Like the feelings in your body are, but don't listen to your body.
yeah.
Oh, lustful, bad, burning in hell, bad, bad. Don't listen. My doll, like cover it up. Like it's very interesting, right? So there's so many levels of ways that we were taught not to. And then, of course, anybody that had any trauma, which most of us women did, then there's more reasons to leave. And I just feel like just even sitting on the bus with a guy who's putting his hand on your leg, and then you're too if you were me and most of the people I knew, oh, we don't want to hurt his feelings by like getting up and walking away. So better to just sit there in total discomfort with a stranger's hand on your thigh, making yourself accommodate your discomfort to the man.
Yeah.
So now you're not doing that anymore.
No.
And it looks so awesome on you. It looks so good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now tell me, what does it feel like in your body?
What does it feel like in my body? It feels expansive. It feels like unleashed is a really good word for it because it feels like it can just go where it wants to go. The energy that I have can go where it wants to go. It's not like, oh no, don't go down there. Oh no, don't go like there. Like it's just like it can go, it's free flowing. My energy is free flowing and it can go wherever it wants to go. And I can do whatever I want to do with my body. I can go wherever I want to go with my body. I can like I'm not restricted.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's really hot. And now
Yeah.
tell me, and I love that you're tying this in with the psychic school and the body, because that was my biggest understanding in the last, I don't know, a couple of years was like, oh, my body does always knows what my body's never confused.
Yeah.
When I'm indecisive, my body is not indecisive.
You're right. Right.
And
That's
most of the indecision I have found is because my brain is attached to some idea of something and my
exactly.
doesn't want to learn. And so, okay, so
If anything, my brain leads me in the wrong direction most of the time. Like
yeah, yes, so true.
I do a lot of work and like in making decisions and stuff like that, where I literally try and parse out what my brain is actually doing in the conversation, like in the decision making process. So I'll actually I'll try and like trick my brain, and I'll be like, okay, I'm trying to make this decision. Like, let's say you weren't in a relationship, Mandi. Like, how would you make the decision? Let's say you didn't feel like if you didn't feel like you owed that friend, how would you make the decision differently? Like I try to remove all the things that my brain is attached to
Yeah,
that
pictures.
are
Yes.
causing me to make a different decision.
So genius. I love that. So really cool practice. That's great. Okay, good. Because I was gonna ask, so you're right now. So what you're unleashing currently is, besides yourself and your
Yes.
the freedom of in other women in teaching them, is this TV show.
Mhm.
A.
TV show.
I know there's only one of many things that you're doing. But
There's a lot of things. I'm also really excited. The other thing that's happening, Sara, is that my divorce coaching business, which had a very exciting end to it. It was it was very traumatic. I'm laughing about it now, thankfully. It was very traumatic for me last year. You saw me go through that as well. It was very near and dear to my heart, that coaching business is helping women who were going through what I had previously gone through a few years earlier, and helping them and protect their children and navigating the court system. And it was really, I was so passionate about that business. I know you saw that too. And for me to have to shut that down was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I'm really excited what's happening now. I don't know if I've even told you this, but we're making a chat bot, like an AI thing for the divorce coaching. And so these women now, like, and that was the hardest thing also in the business, is that I had all like this huge payroll with all these coaches and admin and people to help the clients, and sales reps that took a large percentage, and market, like I had to enroll 20 clients a month just to break even. And it was really, really like I had to they keep upping the price and keep like, and it was like so hard for these women who had to pay attorneys, and some of them were stay-at-home moms, to be able to pay for my program, and they were so devastated they couldn't pay for it. And it broke my heart to have to turn people away. But it's like I had to also be able to make sure I can pay all of my team members, right? It was like a rock and a hard place there. But I'm really excited to announce that we should be launching it this week. And we keep running into like, it's getting so like, I'm so ready to launch it. It's like, it's like the anticipation. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be offered as like a low ticket thing that people can just pay for, like a monthly subscription that is like affordable for everybody. And a price that literally everybody should be able to afford, or find a friend that can pay for them. It's really, really incredible. And I'm so excited to deliver that to the world. And I think this is another great example of how I've pivoted and unleashed, right? I let go of all the weight that was holding that business down, and restricting it from helping the number of people that I could actually help. And I used technology, how the world is transforming right now, to utilize that in order to make it, more accessible to people, to make it a little bit like lighter of a business to run, so that I can help more people that way.
Okay, this is so well bragged. So much, so all of it so well bragged. I want to say a couple things about some of the things you've said. One of them, you talked about it's safe to be shiny, basically, and shining. And of course, can I say the name of your company?
Yes, of course.
Mom Shine. Yes, so Mom Shine. And you have these beautiful shiny clothes. But one of the things that I hear a lot from women when we're talking about like shining your light, or taking up more space, or being in your body, or just being in turn on, or, just being like, why not play around with flirting and just playing, is that there is a really consistent fear response. Like if you do that, you're going to attract that guy is going to want to have sex with you. That guy, you might get raped, like whatever. I don't know what it's like. There's a fear, right? Okay. So there's that. Right. And then the fear of the other part, like you said, you'll lose the women.
Right.
Allies. Okay. So don't be too shiny. So, and then the other piece of the thing is once you say, okay, I'm just going to do it anyway. What about the vampires that come? Have you experienced where, oh my God, you have so much light. I just want to come and like suck on your energy for a while.
Oh, totally.
Right. So there's that part. Okay. So all of those are good reasons to just, you know what, I'm going to just stay small and be comfortable and keep all of these people. And then you get the choice to not, like that could be a fear that could keep women from being fully unleashed, or fully in their power, or fully in their light. And so could the technology learning thing. Okay. Oh, we're all afraid of AI and chat. Everyone's afraid and all the things. And instead of that, or being afraid of whatever change, or all of the things.
Right. Oh yeah. That's a huge thing. People are afraid of change, even if it's better. And that's the number one thing I noticed in the divorce coaching business is a lot of these women felt safer staying in an abusive marriage because their change was more scary. It was it was really, really sad to see that happen.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and you have chosen not fear in both those territories, like consistently in this time. You're just walking around, I'm going to shine my light and be as big and beautiful as I am. Why should I? This is what God made. What am I?
Why should I hide it?
It seems kind of disrespectful to be like, oh, God made this flower. Let's cover it up. We don't want the other flowers to feel bad.
Yeah, exactly. Put a box around it.
Exactly. The redwood tree does not stand there and say, who am I to take up so much space and take all this out?
Right. I love that, Sarah.
Right. So this is, and there is, so I can even feel it in me witnessing you and how it's such an old program. It's such an old program. So surrounding myself and like being in this sisterhood where it's constantly reflected back to us so that the muscles get used. So we start to, it's like Pilates, which I recently started doing. There's muscles in there I didn't even know I had that were asleep for, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they were, it's like they're so deep. It feels almost like you're doing nothing. It's so small, but it's so deep.
Let me tell you something, Sarah, that I realized recently is that there's certain muscles in my body that are really, really tight, such as my hip flexors. And I always figured like, oh, I don't need to do any more hip flexor exercises because they're already like, they're so tight. They don't, but you can have something that's tight and not strong at the
Yeah,
same time.
that's right.
Wow, that's mind blowing. Like,
No, but it's the definition of not strong, and that's a totally good point. The feminine of
yeah,
like if you can be soft, like it's stronger to be soft and open and flexible than it is to be brittle, tight, like
yeah.
I know, which is
Hold on for dear life. You just like touch it and it's like
exactly, and that's exactly it's like the physical metaphor for what you're embodying right now. So it's so beautiful. God, you're just like so amazing. So yeah, the not being afraid, the choosing. I'm my own light and choosing, yeah, I'll just adapt to this new thing. Let's make it affordable. Let's look, we have technology. Why don't we use
yeah.
this 3D or two? What D is Chat GPT? Is that 3D or 4D? I don't know
No
what D we're on right now.
Double D.
No. But the so glad we got a titty joke in there. Okay. But anyway, what you are manifesting, oh my God. So that's what you're currently unleashing. Can you tell me a little more, give me more teases about more things? First of all, where are you? Like, how do we like find you? Like, first of all, in the world, can we say where you are? Because wow.
Yes. Oh, yes. I live in the Cayman Islands. I'm looking out here's the ocean right here. I absolutely love it. And that was part of me unleashing as well. That was one of the craziest things I've ever done was move here. And one of the hardest, like Mama Gina was one of the hardest transformational work things that I've done, but physical things in the world that I've done, this was really, really out there to do.
Can you give us a little taste of that? Like that arc of
Sure.
that?
I mean, I have a son that I co-parent with his dad, and his dad lives in San Diego. And so it was so difficult to move here and navigate that process because I had to initially move here without my son. And I was traveling back and forth. And, I had so many people like literally say to me, I think you are crazy, and not like, ha ha ha, like they were like, you're mentally ill. You're mentally ill. There's like something wrong with you. You left your child in San Diego. And it's like, it was one of those like moments when I just knew that this was the right thing to do. My body was telling me, this is what you have, like, like my whole, like, when I'm again back to my decision-making process, it's like, I had the decision of like stay in San Diego or move to the Cayman Islands. And it was like, whenever I thought about the Cayman Islands, it was like, oh, my whole body came alive. And it was like, it was expansive and like freeing and like alive. Like, it was like, oh my God. And then I thought about staying in San Diego, and I'm like, my body would like collapse in and feel like really dead inside. And it was so hard because I moved here not knowing if my son would be with me. And it was like, what do I do? Do I stay in San Diego and for my son, and knowing that he's like, that I'm probably going to be very resentful because I could have done something else and like been not lived my dream, not pursued what I knew, like I knew in every cell of my body that I needed to be here in Cayman.
Yeah.
And so it was like the hardest decision I've ever had to make. And ultimately I went through with it and through the whole process. And now my son lives here with me. And it was like, it all worked out perfectly, but it was like so scary. And it was like, a year and a half long process to get it all figured out.
And when I met you, you had just, I think, just arrived there. Your son came just after that, but I think, or had you
Yeah,
been?
you're right. You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah, yeah.
it's pretty wild. So, okay. So, and look at what's happened since then. Now you have your own TV show.
I know.
Now, I'm curious, like, can you tell us a little bit about like how I understand that you are a thirsty bitch and that you have gone after this and searched and workshop and seeking and finding the wisdom, like a wisdom seeker and spiritual
Yeah.
seeker. So you've tasted and tried and like journeyed to find all of these different things. And you have done so much there. Now, you know what happens after you go to the retreat and then you come home and then it's like, oh, life goes on. We're not living in the world that we're birthing yet. We're still
Yeah.
clunking out of the old dinosaur time. And so
Totally.
it's, how do you stay in that? How do you keep that magic alive? Can you share a little bit of, yeah.
Oh, such a good question, Sarah. Such a great question. Because I have a hard time with that. That's part of
Yeah.
why I keep going, because it's like I keep wanting to be in touch with that. I love retreats. I love masterminds. I love programs because it takes me out of the mundane day-to-day stuff, and it puts me in a container, in an environment where I have to really think about things and expand myself. It is definitely very hard to be home and keep that up. But I have an answer for you. I was just
Okay. Well,
I was
obviously,
just
because
saying
I
how
can
hard
see
that
you.
is. It's
Yes.
so hard. And and honestly, before I get into my answer, that is part of my vision. That's something that I am working towards right now. Is I don't remember if I told you this, but I really do want to create in the future, like as soon, well, I really want to work towards it. I'm so excited about this. I'm like trying to figure out how long into the future this is, but sometime in the future, I really want to have like centers all over the world of like retreats, and people could just live in different retreats, and you go from this retreat and then go to like the silent retreat and just recover from that retreat for a while, or you could go to the family one and be with your family for a while. It's like there's so many things that we can do, because I really believe that the answer to your question is like how to keep the healing going, how to stay in that expansive state when you're back in the 3D world, is to surround yourself with the people that are in the other dimensions. Like it's so hard. You cannot do it. It is. I mean, Regina has a lot of tools and to keep yourself turned on when you're in 3D world. That's one way to go about it. But if you're surrounding yourself with and you're working, like the people that you spend the most amount of time with, if they're not turned on, if they're not growing, if they're not transforming, like you're going to just go right back to your old ways. There's nothing you can do about it. So the biggest way I've found is to keep doing new things, and to stay in touch, and to really surround yourself with people that are on the same path with you. And that means that I've had to let go of a lot of friendships. It doesn't mean that I'm like, we're not friends anymore because you're not growing and like you're a bad person. Like, no, they're on their own path. Everybody's on their own path. There's nobody has a wrong way of going about things, but I want to be around people who are very expansive, very, very open, not stuck. And so those are the people I surround myself with. And unfortunately, I've had to like, it's not like I'm not friends with them anymore, but I'm just not spending as much time as I used to with them.
Yeah.
And
You don't share as much in common, you find, right?
yeah. And so I've been, growing quickly, and I'm constantly finding new friends, and it's so much fun. I have like a lot of great conversations on my phone all the time. And so
I love that.
and you're part of them. And that helps us to just, I think that, different people come into your life at different times and have different, like if I know that I'm like looking for like an electric like jolt, I'll call you up. If I'm looking for someone to talk really dirty to me, then I'm gonna call Carmine. There's just There's
Yeah.
I have a lot of different people and different personalities in my phone. And when I'm feeling a little off or feeling like I'm getting drug into like feeling the mundane again, like I call one of you guys.
Yeah.
And it's, sometimes I know that I've gotten into real ruts in my life. And this is so funny. You're going to think this is hilarious. I literally will go through and just like message all the people that I could possibly think of that might help. And like, even that means coaches, that means massage therapists, acupuncture, like whatever it is. And I just schedule like a whole bunch of things for like the next week. And I'm like, let's phone conversation with this person, do this. And I'm like in search of like, what's holding me back?
Wow.
What's turning, like, what's dimming me in that moment. And it's different every single time. Sometimes the acupuncture fixes it. Sometimes the electric jolt from Sara fixes it. Sometimes Carmine fixes it. You never know. And it's really been so helpful to have so many varieties of healing modalities available.
Well, and also recognizing, I think that we're all like petals of the flower, we're all
Right.
petals of the rose, and that if we didn't have all of us there with our own individual petal, it wouldn't be a rose, and that we're all necessary. So, this idea of kind of like American, like, and then you find your person, and they're your
Yeah.
best
Oh
friend,
my
and then
God.
you're everything, and you do everything together, and you're like, it's so isolationist or something.
It's literally killing people. It's
Yeah.
literally killing people to just pick one person and make that person your entire life. Like you're
So
limiting
much.
yourself
Yeah.
and putting so much pressure on that other person to be your everything. And it's so hard. Like I think as you were talking, I was thinking the biggest, I think to summarize what I was saying
Yeah.
is that we can't do this alone.
No.
We can't, like, you can't leave a retreat and go home and expect yourself by yourself to stay in that energy.
Right.
Like that's the biggest thing I've learned from Regina and a lot of these other things is that we need each other as women. We need each other to stay elevated up. We
Yeah.
can't do it in isolation.
Yeah.
And if you're in a marriage isolated, and I mean, I was there and married and isolated, and it, it it's really, really hard. And I'm not saying I'm like, if you find the love of your life, please marry the love of your life.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm
it's
saying
not
like
about that. It's not about not having the love of your life. It's about the idea that then that person is going to do all of the things for you and with you and to
yeah,
you and
you
whatever.
need to have
Like,
sisterhood. It's really important to have sisterhood.
so powerful. And what I notice is, of course, there's a reason why there is a story, a narrative from the patriarchy that we have to compete with each other for this rare scarcity thing that is the
Right.
man. When in fact we don't need to do that, and we're so much more powerful when we're together. And the men are great, and let's love the men too. But like we don't that's not real. That's not a real thing. And I think that people are realizing that. But instead of being angry and bitter and getting stuck in that part, which we have righteous reason to be angry and
Yes.
bitter, but also like that's not creating what we want. And what I see is that you, who could pick any one of wide range of events in your life to choose to be completely victimized by, and instead you look like a goddess, and you are a goddess, and you are going around ding 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 with your wand and helping ignite other goddesses. So that is amazing to me, and unleashing freedom, and just even the idea, because I feel like we need to be taught how to dream, and
Totally.
you're
Oh,
showing.
that was a huge thing for me in Regina's program. It was like desires. Like it's like what do I don't know, what do I desire, like and wait, I have a desire but I can't say that, like that's too big of a desire, like I can't
You ever say
possibly,
TV show?
I
Like
can't have that, I can't, yeah, I can't have a TV show like
I know, don't even say that. Don't even say that. That's so dumb. So dumb.
yeah, it's
No,
such a dumb desire.
yeah, it's true. And it's so that we have to be taught how to dream. We have to be taught like that they're even what we could possibly dream. Like this phrase of like, it's so it shall be, or something even better than your wildest imagination, because we don't even know what we don't know yet. So
Yeah.
thank you for modeling for us how exquisite and beautiful and fun it could be to be unleashed. You look great. Yeah. And I love that, and that we're talking about being unleashed, and you kind of have a leash around your neck a little bit.
Yeah.
Pretty hot. Yeah. So, thank you. So this has been such an amazing, absolute like gift to have you on here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on
Oh,
here. How can people find you?
sure.
Can you say on your, how they find you? They want to look you up
Yeah.
on socials or your website?
Sarah, I just have to say you are so adorable. I love you. I've never heard someone talk about finding someone on socials. Sounds so exciting. Like I'm like, oh, what is she saying now? Like, oh, okay. I just love you so much. And thank you so much for having me here. This is
Oh,
such a fun afternoon. And honestly, I will just say that I was feeling a little like turned off before this. I was like I'd rather be at the beach with my son right now. And that's
gosh,
but
you're good to
back
tell.
to what we were just talking about. Being in sisterhood elevates us, even when we don't feel like we want to go do that. Like be all like sisterhood always.
Especially when we
Yeah,
don't want to go do that.
exactly.
Especially when that's what I learned was, oh God, I would show up to the Zoom calls with like, I hadn't even put makeup on or brushed my hair, put on laundry, I'd just be like, and then I'm like, oh shit, everyone else is all, and then I just like, and then I start to get more, and it's something about investing in yourself in a
Yeah.
way that is so, and I mean, I cannot say enough times, you look amazing. You just look like a queen. Wait, please say out loud so people can hear you. Where can people find you on your?
Yes, thank you. You're redirecting me. I got distracted by your lightning energy. So where they can find me on Instagram, I'm on Instagram. That's my biggest presence is on Instagram, but I'm also on TikTok and on YouTube is where all of my TV shows get aired. It's all Dr. Mandi Rose, Dr.
Doctor?
Dr. Mandi, Mandi, because I like to be different.
Mhm.
Rose. And
ROSE,
so
Dr. Mandi Rose.
yeah, and so it's and then also it's sometimes it's like I think my YouTube channel is My Life, My Freedom dash Dr. Mandi Rose. That's
Oh
what it.
God, my life, my freedom. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And do you know that the rose is the highest vibration flower?
I did.
You did, of course you knew that. I
Yeah.
only learned that this last year. I don't know who taught this, some goddess or witch or queen taught that to me somewhere along the road.
Yeah, maybe it was Meg.
I love you so much. You are a genius. You are the most genius queen courtesan of all time. You are so brilliant. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. And I know that we were only at the very beginning. So I am so excited to see what comes next and what you unleash next on the world and how you keep following in your path, all of the paths. Thank you, babe.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been such an honor to be here.